Could the movie Obsession be proving many Black women right? Welcome back to Mikaila Unmuted. If you've been here before, you're probably wondering why I'm doing these weekly short videos. I realized recently that I have a very deep visibility wound. Historically, every time I've tried to create a video, I've felt so much anxiety, so much stress, that I decided that I would make a small commitment to myself to record something every week. And that's what this video is. I'm learning how to stop hiding and just creating content and putting it out there till I get comfortable in it, in myself, in my body, and using my voice. Now, getting back to the movie Obsession, for those of you who haven't seen the movie, let me give you a brief synopsis. It's actually less of a horror movie like gore, 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 kill, kill, kill. And it's much more a horror movie in the same way Us highlights some of the horrors that we become numb to in day-to-day life. So the movie is focused on this young man named Bear. Bear works at a record shop with a woman that he has a deep, deep crush on named Nikki. Bear is intimidated by Nikki, but also enraptured by her, by the fact that she has bigger ambitions, by the fact that she's willing to take risks and quit her job and move other places to be her best self. One day, Nikki breaks a crystal that she owns. Bear goes to a spiritual store to buy her a new crystal, and he finds a wand that can answer any of his wishes. Early in the film, Bear has an opportunity to ask Nikki out. They are alone. They are sitting in the car outside of her home, and Nikki opens the door. She asks more than once if there's anything he wants to tell her, and Bear chickens out. It is important to note that Bear at first seems like a sympathetic character. He doesn't have a ton going for him. He's not super rizzy. He works at a record store. He lives in his dead grandmother's house. He just feels kind of stuck in who he is. No ambition to advance, no opportunities that he's taking. So as a potential partner, there's not a lot that Bear is obviously bringing, not only to us as an audience, but to Nikki. And he definitely doesn't even have the chutzpah to advocate for himself. She is dynamic, he is not. After his failed attempt to ask her out, he makes a wish on the stick, and the wish that he makes is that Nikki will love him more than anything else in the world. But when you think of the depths of that ask, what is easy to ignore but becomes poignant the more you watch the film is that he's obsessively asking Nikki to love him more than she loves herself. And that immediately becomes apparent. Nikki becomes obsessive. She is so invested in trying to always be by him, do what he likes, say what he wants, never upset him, be chosen by him, to the point that she loses her mind. And I won't divulge the end of the film, but in many ways, it's not the outcome that Bear intended when he made that wish. What's really interesting about this film is that the more that Nikki behaves in the way that Bear wished for, the less attracted he becomes to her. When Nikki's under the spell, she is giving Bear all of the attention and validation that in his mind he's always thought he wanted. But because it wasn't earned, it was empty. He didn't enjoy it. It felt obsessive. It felt neurotic. And so in many ways, it scared him. I think that's the central message of the director to the audience, that men who want automatic acceptance, validation, acquiescence from a woman, to receive it when it is unearned, not only does it feel hollow, but it feels scary and uncomfortable. I think the overarching message of this film is sometimes the thing that you desire is not necessarily the thing that you want. I love this idea that the main character, Bear, is what we technically call a good guy. And so as a result, the feeling is Why wouldn't Nikki want to be with him? Because he's not mean to her. He adores her. He likes her more than she likes him. He wants to do anything for her. He's trying to replace crystals. But at the core of him being a nice guy is still the fact that he's prioritized what he wanted over what she needed. While it might seem like he's prioritizing her because she is the focus of his obsession, he wants what he wants, even at the sacrifice it means for her. I think what's so interesting about this film and the fact that it's named Obsession, it gets back to the true meaning of the word. The power behind the word obsession has been somewhat diluted within society. We throw it around really, really casually without acknowledging that obsession is actually an extreme emotion, extreme to the point of dysfunction. We as women always talk about the fact that we don't want a nonchalant man. We want a man who is obsessed with us, who cares about us, loves us more than we love ourselves. I think what's so interesting about this film and the fact that it's named Obsession, it gets back to the true meaning of the word. Getting back to expectation. Bear thought he wanted a relationship with Nikki with no expectation. No expectation that he clean his house, he take care of his pets, he has some ambition. One of the most poignant scenes in this film is when they're sitting in the car, she gets out of the car and she's asking him, "Is there anything you want to tell me?" She's holding him accountable to his attraction to her. She is making him own it and voice it to some degree rather than doing the heavy lifting for him. And he completely punks out. He has to rely on magic in order for it to happen. Nikki's expectation for Bear to step up and use his voice and own what he wanted from her is very similar to the accountability that a lot of women, in particular Black women, feel for their relationships with other people. When Nikki is holding Bear accountable to his crush on her, in many ways, Bear read that as rejection because that's what accountability often feels like. But in reality, accountability is not about someone controlling you. It's about someone refusing to let you escape yourself. It's the expectation that your words, your actions, your intentions all align. But when that doesn't happen, many people receive the expectation or accountability held by another as putting them down. What's so interesting when you step back and analyze that film, you realize that the wish that Bear has is what many of those in the red pill community, the incel community, what they want. The reason why the men in those communities are so upset is because women now have options. Women are now prioritizing themselves. Women are now reclaiming their own financial independence, social independence, romantic and sexual independence, and they are deeply, deeply upset about it. Even when you think about incels, involuntary celibates, there is this feeling within that community that they cannot get the girls that they want. And so they seek solace in the comfort of other men who are telling them that women are wrong for not wanting them and women are wrong for not prioritizing them. What incel culture doesn't seem to appreciate is that love has no value when someone has no other options. When someone defaults to giving you care because they feel like they have to, not because they want to. When someone chooses you, not because of who you are or what you've done or how you treat them, but because you told them to, because you forced that on them, because you gave them no other option. What's so beautiful about this movie is it highlights that the very thing that a lot of these red pill men think they want, if they actually got it, they would hate it. It's interesting when we think about the discourse that a lot of Black men have around why they don't date Black women. That discourse is it's because Black women are too hard. It's because Black women are too demanding. It's because Black women call them out on things that they feel like they shouldn't have been called out on. What has always been surprising and confusing for me is a lot of Black women who predominantly love Black men, they do because of who they are, because of all the things we know that they're capable of, because in many ways, we see ourselves in them and we know what we're capable of. It can feel really sad as a Black woman who actively chooses to partner with Black men to have that commitment not be reciprocated, but also looked down on, when in reality, that devotion and commitment is rooted in the belief of the capacity of who they can be and our commitment to helping them get there. And some of the ways we help them get there is through our expectation, is through our accountability, is through our not allowing them to take the easy road in service of their highest good. I also want to bring up the point that I think one of the reasons Black women are comfortable with accountability is because we're held so accountable by every segment of society. Black women are used to never being able to win, to always have our actions seen through the most negative lens. And so, because we're held to such a high standard within society, it is instinctive and reciprocal for us to also hold those around us to a high standard. Accountability doesn't scare us. We hold ourselves incredibly accountable. I would argue that the fact that so many of us are paying the Black woman tax, meaning that we have to do double, triple, quadruple more than anyone else to even be recognized as the standard, has resulted in us having a ton of expectations for ourselves and holding ourselves incredibly accountable. And as a result, accountability and expectation isn't scary for us. I often think about the fact that Black women are somewhat boxed in to the archetypes of mammy, mule, and maid. In many ways, when you think about mammies, they are maternal figures. And sometimes the tension between Black women and everybody else is because we show up as the mother and we receive reactions from everybody as if they are our teenage child. How dare we have expectations? How dare we hold them accountable? It's that mother teenage friction that I, as a Black woman, often feel with other people, the obstinance that I'm encountering when I hold people to the standard that they've set for themselves, especially as a DEI consultant, when I've held corporations accountable to the DEI mission statement they rolled out post George Floyd. The reaction from a lot of the senior leaders, the CEO, the COO, the head of HR, was very much like dealing with a teenager. Also, when you think about the archetypes of mule and maid, those are people that are in service of other people. We are not expected to ask anything for ourselves. We are just expected to do and give to others. Sometimes the resistance around Black women having an opinion, having an expectation around something, is rooted in the fact that we're supposed to shut up, be quiet, and do what people expect for us to do without even considering what we want and need within that scenario. One of the key points of the movie Obsession is that growth requires friction. It requires expectation. It requires accountability. And maybe the people that we spend the most time resenting are actually the ones who want the best for us and who are trying to keep us from the smallest versions of ourselves.